Check this out, C0 Ororon gives some of the best characters in the game an Oro run for their money. Let's get into it with these 14 teams. So the first team we'll look at is this Chaska team, seen as though they're sharing a banner, and most people would consider this to be Chaska's best team right now. If you don't know by now, Ororon gets Night Soul points when teammates trigger Night Soul Burst or when Electro or Hydro teammates hit opponents. When opponents take Electro charge damage or Night Soul aligned damage, Ororon consumes these points to hit up to 4 enemies with an Electro attack. This is his main source of damage, so running in with Hydro and Electro or Natlan units is good for him. With his team ticking all of those boxes and Ororon buffing Hydro and Electro damage through 4P scroll is definitely a team worth playing. Before we start getting into the typical Hydro and Electro teams, I want to take a look at some more experimental teams because that's what I enjoy doing most on this channel. Maybe you didn't want Chaska because you're saving for 5.3 characters. This is a team for you. Shalonen holds 4P scroll well, so you can either give Ororon 4P's Noblesse or you could go for a damage build like 2-piece Thunder and Fury, 2-piece attack. With Ororon nearly being sacrificed to bring Natlan souls to the Night Kingdom, maybe you could say hi to the boys, Malus and Silver. A bit more of a popular use for him is this old school Sucrose Taser team where he replaces one of the Electro units. In AoE situations, I'd replace Fischl. In single target situations, replace Beidou. I like running Beidou though, cause her and Xingqiu are like a composite sustain unit. It can be tricky with them both, but with Xingqiu as the team's only protection, we might as well say hi to Malus and Silver ourselves. I enjoyed running this team. It's been a while since Sucrose had a run out, so with the new Electro charge buffs, it's worth trying out. Same team but with a different driver is this Hazo team. It's fitting that we'd run a Hazo team with Hazo punching things and Ororon having the Mike Tyson face tattoo. Hazo's stronger than I remember, to be honest. I don't know if it's just we've got better as players, but he smashed the Abyss. Definitely an underrated unit, and if you skip Chaska but you want to build a DPS, I'd consider building Hazo if you have him. I released a Hazo video a few days ago. If you haven't seen it, punch yourself in the face. Again, Ororon on 4P scroll is increasing the team's Hydro and Electro damage. Giving Hazo the Inazuma craftable Hakushin ring will increase it even more. Okay, what more can we say about Nouvelette that hasn't been said a million times already? Very strong character, him and Farina clap most content in the game. Let's say you want Zhongli's shield over Shalonen, maybe you're against the Constipated Beast, and let's say you don't need Kazuha's grouping, or maybe you don't have him, or maybe he's on the other half of your Abyss. Most would have gone with Fischl, but Ororon with 4P scroll is an upgrade in these circumstances. To clarify, he doesn't raise the ceiling for Nouvelette because Kazuha is still better, but he's going to be better than Fischl, and maybe you just want to get a new character in there. Ororon's an emo, Nouvelette makes it rain in Fontaine often. With this team he can have a cuddle and a cry together. Sticking with Hydro, we have this Kokomi team. Now, most people would run Kazuha instead of Ororon, or they'd run Xingqiu to make it a true mono Hydro team. Getting Ororon in there means we replace the elemental buff that Kazuha was given to the team from his kit. We do lose the Viridescent Venera shred, but Ororon's gonna bring some more damage to the team. It's nice to get a different element in there too for elemental coverage, especially with the AoE that he brings. Even more so with the Electro charge buffs in 5.2. Given the fact most of the team's damage would be single target if you swapped Ororon out for Xingqiu, the AoE is appreciated. In 5.1, we all got a free copy of Candice, my favourite character design in the game. If you have Farina and Xianyun, you already know how strong her plunge teams can be. What she's been missing is a true filler for the flex slot. I juggle between Yelan and Shalonen, but Ororon's a solid choice too. He's an extra source of damage and his passive is going to give Candice some energy so she can build a little less in her artifacts. I'm kinda hoping we can get an off-field pyro unit that can apply pyro quick enough for Candice and Farina to both vape. I think that's the only thing stopping Candice Plunge from being a genuine meta contender. Until then, Ororon's a decent option for the flex slot even at C0, but he's gonna get better and better in this side as you pick up more constellations. Side note, Candice, Farina and Ororon all have heterochromic eyes. One more and we've got a full team. There is one character that's kinda been forgotten about and I don't see many people play them anymore, but I think Ororon will bring them back into the mix. The character I'm talking about is Cyno. The 9 energy from Ororon's passive will be nice for Cyno, and the electro damage from 4P scroll will benefit him too. Yelan will give Cyno another buff from her passive as well as hydro damage to trigger Ororon's damage from his Night Soul Blessing state. The last slot is a flex where you could go with Baiju or Karara for Dendro application and sustainability. If you don't mind playing a bit riskier, you could throw in C0 for a little sustainability and then use the last slot for extra damage from Yelan, Dendro from Nahida, or grouping from Kazuha. I'll use this as an opportunity to mention Cloran too. I don't have her, but you could definitely run her with Ororon, Yelan and Kazuha. We know Electro Charge works well with Ororon, but how does he do in overloaded teams, and is there a place for him there? You might be surprised to know there is. Firstly, he doesn't trigger the electro damage from his passive in this team, so he's losing some value there. He is contributing 4p scroll though, and with all these characters dealing electro or pyro damage, he makes up for that lost value in my opinion. I think this team's missing some Natlan options so we can get the most out of Ororon, but I'm sure we'll get some before Snezhnaya. There's only one different character in this team, but it plays completely different now. Instead of Raiden as the only true on-fielder, we yo-yo in between her and Dia in their burst forms. Honestly, this is one of my favourite teams in the video. If you're familiar with this channel, you know I'm always trying to find ways to play Dia, so Ororon's been a welcome addition to my account. Him and Dia both have rips in their genes too, so it makes sense that they work together. You could summon Child from the Primordial Sea and run them together. People used to run Child Fireworks, which was Child, Fischl, Beidou and Bennett. Ororon would simply slot in for one of Fischl or Beidou. I'd keep Fischl for single target and Beidou for AoE. Child was my first limited 5-star and one of the main reasons I started playing Genshin in the first place. I think it's a shame he's fallen off, but it's refreshing to have another team for him. Another character I don't have that's still worth a mention is Ayato. I imagine Ayato, Furina, Ororon and C2 Jean for the attack speed would be a lot of fun. If you wanted to play on fielders of other elements, you could run an Arlecchino overloaded team with Chevrus and another electro unit like Fischl. You won't be getting full access to Ororon's kit though, because his passive is only triggered by electro charged or night soul aligned attacks. He's a scroll holder here. Once Mawika or another Natlan Electro units come out, he'll be able to trigger the damage from his passive in this team. Alhaitham's an option too. Again, not optimal, but scroll's a nice benefit. You can go for other Dendro and Electro options like either of Nahida, Fischl, Yai and Beidou taking up the other slot. For sustainability, Nahida can hold Prototype Amber, or if you want more comfort, you could get Karara or Baiju in there. You could even use one of Furina, Yelan or C0 to trigger the damage from Ororon's passive. If you really wanted to start cooking, you could try him with Kanich in a Quicken team. Kanich being a Natlan unit triggers the damage from Ororon's passive, Nahida can hold Deepwood, and then you have options for the last slot. You could go with another electro damage dealer and give Nahida Prototype Amber for healing, or you could go with a sustain unit like Karara or Baiju. You could even give Cookie 4-piece tenacity, and if you have some 5-star swords, Ki will give the team elemental mastery, Shalonin's weapon gives the team elemental damage, and Freedom Swan gives the team attack. Overall, at C0 I'm giving Ororon an 8 out of 10, and with Constellations that number gets even higher. 4p Scroll is a broken set, and putting it on an off-field damage dealing Electro character, with the element having so many different uses, gives us a lot of value. If you don't want the 5 stars, I don't advise risking pity if you're saving for a 5.3 character, but if you're at low pity, I do recommend trying to snipe even a single copy of Ororon. I did a similar video for Chaska teams as well as one for Hazo a few days ago, and I've got more videos coming tomorrow too. Subscribe to the channel if you're interested in them, and take it easy.